special conversation with World Cup winner and somebody you see on India Today and Aaj Tak very, very frequently. One of our best, one of India's best, Harbhajan Singh. Baju, welcome. What a day for Test cricket. Perhaps one of the greatest Test matches to be played in every sense. You must be excited. Your first thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a great game of cricket, and of course this is happening for the first time. You know, when we were playing 2007 T20 World Cup, that was something really big when we won that, and of course if India go on to win this Test championship and become #1 team in the world, it'll be a great thing. So yeah, I'm very excited about this game, and I'm sure both the team will go out there to get the right result, but I'm backing my team India to come back with the cup.
I love the fact that always you are the one who's always positive and says you are backing Team India. That's why you're Harbhajan Singh. But tell me why you are. Because a lot of people are saying New Zealand with 2 Test matches and a series win against England. People like Michael Vaughan say that, oh, you know what, I fancy New Zealand. So obviously Michael wants the Indian, Twitter followers to follow him. That's different. But give me your sense why you are backing Team India.
Well, I think I just back them purely on talent, and of course the kind of result they have got in recent past. They have gone to Australia, they won the series there. They have played back here in India. They have done really well against the champion sides, and this is what is Team India is all about. They don't really worry about whether they're playing in England or in Australia or in New Zealand. They just go out and do what they know they can do, and they have got a quality batting lineup with someone like Rohit Sharma also coming in now. Indian batting look even more better, and of course with the bowling, if you get to bowl on seaming track, you have Mohammad Shami, you have Mohammad Siraj, who's up and coming but very fast, and you have Jasprit Bumrah. You have all the things covered in your bowling lineup and also in your batting lineup. So that's the reason I back Team India, and I think they have got tremendous side. All they need to do is just make sure start is very important, whether they bowl first or bat first. I think first couple of hours are going to be the key in this Test match, and I hope India start on a right note.
Harbhajan Singh, you have just given me the biggest news point. You have said Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, and you mentioned Mohammad Siraj, but you did not mention Ishant Sharma. So are you telling me that these 3 are your top 3? Will you go in with these 3 plus Ashwin and Jadeja? What is your bowling attack that you would have gone with?
Well, I think everyone have their sort of mind into this, who would they want to go. But if I was part of the team management, I would definitely back Mohammad Siraj ahead of Ishant Sharma, not on something else, but just purely on his form, what he is in, and he's young, he's raw, he's quick, and New Zealanders haven't played him much, so that's the only thing. I'll put Siraj ahead of Ishant Sharma. With all due respect to Ishant, he's a senior member. He's played number of games for India and done really well. But this is just for one of those games, where I would like to put Siraj in front of Ishant Sharma. This is my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is what I feel.
Harbhajan Singh never backs off from taking an opinion, and that's why I have to say I love him. Absolutely do, and has been the case for the last 20 years. Baju, now coming to your department, spin. Sachin was on our show and he said in England spinners will have to bowl differently and they can be as effective. People don't understand that. He was talking about dip and drift. So obviously you've been there, done that, bowled in England with success. Many years for India. Talk about it. Would you have gone with both Ash and Jadeja? And what is the trick of bowling with the Duke's ball? Cloudy conditions, difficult conditions to bowl in for a spinner.
Well, I think you have covered the covered the thing in your question itself. You know, as Sachin mentioned, that spinners can bowl well in England, and yes, they can take wickets, whether it's a cloudy sort of conditions or whatsoever. You know, we'll have to see. You know, what sort of wicket we are going to get to play on. But these quality two spinners. R. Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja, you know, when you have these two quality spinners, and you don't need to worry about too much what is going to happen from the wicket. You know, I remember one of the games we played in Leeds long back, where, you know, India go on to play with two spinners and two fast bowlers, and Sanjay Bangal coming in bowling few overs. So sometimes you have to back your best bowlers no matter what conditions are. You know, how they will help the seamers or whatsoever, but you'll have to back your 4 to 5 best bowlers. So I think this is what India need to go in with, two of their best spinners. You know, that'll give them some more leverage. You know, if someone having a bad day, you know, anybody can come in and chip in, not just with the overs but with the wickets as well. You know, they are all in a great mind space. You know, they have done well in the recent past, and Jadeja, you know, the rise of Jadeja, you know, not just with the ball but with the bat, obviously give you that confidence that he can bat at any number. You know, you put him to bat, and that is something, you know, Indian team should look at doing it. You know, he can probably bat at 6, and then 6 or 7, and then, you know, he can bowl few overs and get you for few wickets as well. So that gives you 5 bowlers with 2 quality spinners and 3 quality seamers. So I think that's going to be the best team. So yes, coming to your point, yes, you slightly have to change in your seam position when you're bowling in England. You know, your seam needs to be more upright, not the side spin, because side spin will not give you the spin when you're bowling on a true surface. But if you're bowling on a right sort of seam position, which is a more upright seam, you know, you'll get the ball to bounce and spin as well. So I'm sure these guys knows about it. And Ashwin, he's done it in that game he played against England on the last tour in Birmingham. I'm sure he will be looking at those sort of footages and try to repeat the same performance against New Zealand as well.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But the other question is, you know, India has always started out in a recent series, and whether it's South Africa, whether it's England, whether it's Australia, we haven't started out well. I mean, the first match is inevitably one where we've lost or not done well, and we've come back. But in this case, we do not have a chance of a comeback. It's a one-off, it's a final. So your thoughts on that? Are you slightly worried about that? And how important, you know, is this mindset? Will Virat talk to the boys about this? Ravi talk to the boys about this? That look, there's no coming back in this test match. Your thoughts?
Well, I think we don't really need to look at it, you know, that way. That you know, first match of the series we haven't done well. You have to see and treat this game as the biggest game, maybe for some of the guys' careers. You know, as this is happening for the first time, World Cup Test World Cup Championship. So yeah, so I think what I said earlier. Start is very, very important. I think you need to start well, and not to forget it's a 5-day game, and there's a lot of time in 5 days. Even if you take a couple of hours to get settled with the ball, with the bat, you know, you have still a lot of time in the game to catch up with those slow start, or with the you know, quality bowling what you have bowled but you didn't pick wicket, but you have enough time to come back in the game and pick those wickets as well. So I think it'll be important to keep the nerve right, and do what his team's plan is. And of course, you know, I would like to say that start well with the bat. You know, give first couple of hours to the bowlers and see what is happening from the surface. And if you're bowling first, you know, just go out there and try to look to get those 3-4 wickets in the first couple of hours. You know, that will put you ahead of the other team. So, you know, I'm sure they must be talking about starting well with the bat. That is going to be important. You have to have runs on the board. If you don't put runs on the board, you are always going to put your bowlers under pressure to get them out. So start will be very important, whether we are bowling or batting first. So I'm hoping that we get the right start to get the right sort of result in this game.
Let me push you a bit on that, what you just said. Let me push you a bit on that, because the match you referred to earlier, the Leeds match, the Headingley match, Saurabh will always talk about that match of 2002 as one of his best ever wins. If I take you back to that one, Ian Botham at the toss said to Saurav Ganguly when he said bat first, he actually looked up and said, "Are you serious?" I mean, something to that effect. So India batted first, and then obviously that, Rahul Dravid, Sanjay Bangar, and then Sachin and Saurabh set up that big total. You and the rest of the bowlers then killed it for India. So that was a dominating win, batting first in difficult conditions, setting it up for a bowling attack which had two of the best spinners of the world. So are you advocating something like that? That because you are playing two spinners, irrespective of the conditions, bat first, put your runs on the board and take charge? Is that right?
See, that will not be a bad option. You'll have to evaluate, what is the best option going forward. If I was captaining or handling this team, I would see the conditions, what is it going to be like, and I'll see the surface, and I'm sure then accordingly I'll take a call. And if the wicket is dry and it's going to get drier, then of course I want my spinners to come into the game on the fourth inning. But if it's a wicket where there's a lot of grass, it's hard, then you have three quality seamers, backed by two brilliant spinners. So whether you bowl first or second, it doesn't matter. You just have to start well. So your fast bowlers need to bowl well. If suppose we are bowling on the first day on that surface, where it's helping the seamers, as a spinner, your job becomes slightly different. You just have to control one end and make sure seamers are attacking from the other end. But if you're bowling on the fourth day or the fifth day of the game, then obviously the role just reverse. Then obviously your spinners need to attack, and fast bowlers obviously have to assess the condition and bowl accordingly. If it's happening for fast bowlers, great. If not, then they'll have to hold the end, and spinners need to attack them. And this is how the game goes.
Okay, two questions, Madhu. One, please set up Virat Kohli versus Kane Williamson for me as leaders. You've seen them very closely. You've played with both of them. You still do when you play the IPL. They are your opponents. So set up the leadership battle, Virat Kohli and Kane Williamson for me. And number two, again, something very important. When Harbhajan Singh played, it was, whether the 2001 series, it was Harbhajan Singh alone who won the series for India. Times it has been you and Anil, but at no point in time did you have five bowlers who are all individually match winners and can win you a contest. So the second question, is this India's best ever bowling attack that Harbhajan Singh has seen? So Virat and Williamson and the bowling attack.
Yeah, let me talk about first these two legends, greats of this game in new generation, the current generation. Virat Kohli, obviously, he's someone who sets great standards, not just for himself, for the team as well. And we have seen his rise and his team's rise, by setting those examples. He wants to win, no matter what are the situations or the conditions. I remember him playing those back-to-back hundreds in Australia and going for every possible run, when India team was chasing those 400, 450 odd runs. And I asked him, I said, Virat, what were you trying to do, or what was your thought process? He said, we want to chase, no matter what. We'll go down by fighting, but will not get those sort of defeated, where people just come and just defeat us and it just goes and walk. And that's the kind of attitude he brings into the team. He fights till the end, and we have seen over the years this team have done really, really well. It doesn't matter what sort of situation they are in, everyone chips in with some sort of performances to make sure they get the right result. That's what Virat Kohli's team does, and a lot of credit to him for setting up the right example in terms of fitness as well. What Team India's fitness is, I think credit must be given to Virat Kohli for setting really, really tough and hard standards for Team India. And coming to Kane Williamson, he's totally opposite to Virat Kohli. He's very quiet, very shy guy. I've played a lot of cricket with him, even in the IPL. Whenever you interact with him, he's a man with very few words, but he's a he's a legend in my eyes. You know what he does with the bat, and what sort of person he is. You know, he always have time for you. But you know, credit to him. He made New Zealand team. You know what team they are today. You know, by leading by example, by scoring a lot of runs for them, and of course that team have a lot of belief. And you know, they played in the World Cup final, and now they are in this final World Cup Test final. You know, that goes to show that the leadership of this team has been fantastic, and credit to Williamson. And the other question was about, you know, if this India's best bowling lineup. Yes, you know, in present scenario, yes, this is the best bowling lineup. Definitely, you know, you have 4 to 5 fast bowlers who can bowl at 150, 145 at all time. That's all you want as a captain, as a team member. You know, you want your fast bowlers to bowl at 145. We never had that sort of luxury in our team. You know, only Javagal Srinath was 145 plus, but other guys were like Sanjay Banga bowling at 120, 123, and yes, Zaheer Khan was there when he came, but we never had 3 guys who can run in and bowl at 145, and you had 2 quality spinners at the same time. So you're playing with 5 match winners in the team. You know, what else you can ask for? This is a great chance we have, and I think we need to start well, and if we do start well, I'm sure we're going to come good.
Last 2 questions before I let you go, Bhaju. Always a pleasure to speak to you. From the perspective of the game, you know, in recent times, more white ball cricket, it's become, obviously sponsors will queue up, advertisers will queue up, a 4 and a 6 has become sort of the real action, wickets falling real action, but maiden overs are an anathema for the broadcaster, saying, oh, you know what, it's boring. But this match, for once, if India wins, Test cricket as a format, the long form will benefit. Billion eyeballs on this team, Test match, height, World Cup, context. So from the perspective of cricket, this match is perhaps one of the most important Test matches in history. Your thoughts?
Yeah, see, Test cricket is always something which obviously the superior kind of cricket. Yes, I'm not sure about what broadcaster feels and what people feel about it, but as a player, as an individual, I can say that, you know, that's the best sort of cricket you can play, and you can test yourself in every sort of department. And yes, you know, it's a big initiative by ICC for doing this whole Test championship, and then of course 2 top teams get to play the finals. You know, this is a great thing, and I hope, you know, this will be a great game of cricket where people not just remember this game just for the World Cup final, but they should remember this game as one of the top game have ever played. So I wish both the team all the very best, but slightly more to to India, and I hope they play the best cricket, and Team India get the right result.
Okay, so the last one. You just said you wished everybody the very best and the right result, but hand on heart, is Harbhajan Singh going to be on my show again on the 22nd, celebrating Virat Kohli's first ICC win and India's World Championship? Bhaju, how confident are you? You said you're backing India, but how confident are you? Are you making us believe? I mean, Harbhajan Singh has always been a rock star for me. Are you telling me that come 22nd, we've got another show lined up, you and me, celebrating our first World Test Championship crown? How confident are you?
Well, I'm pretty confident that this team, you know, have it in them. When we see the team sheet, you know, we have covered all the things in the sheet. You know, batting department looks very solid with Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Pujara. He's going to be the key. You know, we don't really talk about Pujara. He's on those conditions. You know, if he get to play, you know, 3-4 sessions, definitely Indian team is going to go and score a lot of runs. So so batting looks really good. Bowling wise, I think we have covered with fast bowler and spinner, and Rishabh Pant, not to forget the kind of form he is in, the kind of confidence he is in. You know, I'm really excited to see, you know, what Team India can bring on the table on the game day and for the next 4-5 days, and I'm sure the kind of quality we have, I'm very, very confident that we'll celebrate on 22nd.
चलो भाई virtually मिष्टी खा लेते हैं, रसगुल्ला खा लेते हैं एक on this note, and then 22nd we will celebrate. I'll have my Bengali mishti and send some your way. Harbhajan Singh, always a pleasure. You're an absolute champion, buddy. Thank you very much for gracing the conclave, and we will keep having you back and back. Viewers, that was Harbhajan Singh for you. Thank you very much for watching.